Hey everybody, I'm actually doing a special Facebook Live tonight because I was talking with somebody, and like I said, nobody can really give anybody advice except for what we've already gone through, and hopefully it helps the person or people that we're trying to help. But I think I need to stress out on toxic relationships, stress out on going where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And there's a story to that, believe it or not. And I think I've said this story before, and a lot of people don't really understand it. Believe it or not, I heard this one from my mentor, and then I'm sure he heard it from somebody else. But it makes a lot of sense in today's world. And how the story goes is there were prisoners on death row, and whenever the warden came out, he would always lead them to the gas chamber, but he always said, "Look, here's your options." He goes, "I know what you did was wrong, but if you want to face something worse than death, I'm going to give you that opportunity. So you see that door over there? You have a choice. Your choice is this: you can be killed by because you have a death sentence, or you can face what's on the other side of that door. And trust me, it's scary. It is one of the worst things that you could ever do." Well, the first prisoner basically chose to die. He's like, "Oh, heck no." And every single prisoner that was on death row got that same advice. You can be put to death, which you're sentenced to do, or you can go through that door. So one day, one of the deputies asked the warden, it's like, "Sir, I don't get it. What's so scary behind everybody that you give that option to? They choose death over what's behind that door. And I don't get it. What's behind the door?" And the warden explained to the deputy, "Behind that door is the worst fate you could ever have. It is the scariest, it is the hardest, and it's worse than death." And the deputy's like, "Well, I know that part, but what is behind the door?" And the warden says, "Go open it." So, okay. So the deputy goes over to the door and opens it up. Nothing. There's nothing behind that door. The deputy's confused. He's like, "Sir, why? I don't get it. What's supposed to be behind there?" He goes, "Freedom. Freedom is behind that door. Freedom is the scariest thing in life that we can do. We are so scared of the unknown, and we are so scared of things we've never done before, that people die before they do anything different. People die before they'll get out of toxic relationships. People will do whatever it takes to get out of, they won't do it. If it's fearful, unknown, people will go to their graves no matter how much they get abused, no matter what they do. And it's always their fault, no one else's. But here's just it. Freedom's scary, but it's still freedom. And a lot of people are prisoners inside their head. They're prisoners inside of relationships. They're prisoners to drugs. And the only reason why is they got so used to being in it, in those situations, they're scared of what else there is out there. I forgot the name of it, but it's like when a person has people held hostage, and they're held hostage for so long that the people that are being held hostage sides with the person that is holding them hostage, because they don't know of any other way. They're so scared of the unknown. They don't know what's going to happen. And so people get so used to being inside this box, this bubble, and they will refuse to get out of it. They won't stand up. They won't climb out. They beg for help, and, they do everything except one thing: follow their own advice. So the scariest thing in life is living. The hardest thing in life to do is live. People are so scared of new things. They're so scared of adventure. They're so scared that they're going to die, that they would rather die. So to me, that never makes any difference. It's either you're going to die or you can take a chance. It's not life science, people. It's you need to learn to take chances. Fear, and this was on a YouTube video with Will Smith, but it makes a lot of sense. Fear, there's no such thing as fear. There is a such thing as danger. But fear is something we put on ourselves from the day that human race came about. And a lot of people don't understand that when we were just cavemen or whatever we were programmed to avoid what could hurt us. We were programmed to run away from the animals that would eat us. We were programmed to, and over time we've programmed these fears into our head. Just like some animals have a sixth sense of somebody hurting and stuff like that, human beings are so scared of the fear that they choose fear over, or they choose to avoid fear and go towards the danger. So the whole point of this is people don't step outside their box because, one, with people with PTSD and depression, I know a lot of people that are in very toxic relationships where pretty much they're abused every day or they're being used, and that's why if you go where you're celebrated, they don't care what you have. If you're where you're tolerated, once you're out of money or once you no longer have sex or once you no longer want to be the other person or once you're, they no longer need you to, help with business, they're gone. They only have one intention, and that's to take advantage of you. And that's the reason why people are so scared to get out of abusive relationships. But, Art Williams said this in sales, but it makes a lot of sense even in toxic relationships. If you're going to get out of it, get out of it. Just do it. Don't tell everybody you're going to do it. Just do it. Don't tell everybody, I just did it and then go right back because you didn't do it. Don't tell everybody, you just have to go out and do it. You don't need an audience. You don't need anybody to pat you on the back and say, hey, you got to get, because you're the keeper of your destiny. You are in charge of you. And there's so many people that have been beaten down for so long that, they don't know they can get up anymore. Which brings me to this a true situation. What fleas are, right? Well, there was an experiment done. They put fleas in a cup and they left the lid off the cup and the fleas would jump right out of the cup. However, they decided to try something else. They put these fleas in a cup and then they put the lid on top of it. Well, you could hear them hitting the lid, because they were trying, it's not necessarily they're trying to get out, but they kept jumping and hitting the lid. Well, after so long, they took off the lid, but the fleas no longer were jumping out. They became a product of their environment. They no longer were jumping out. They no longer were craving freedom. They were basically abused enough to go into a bad situation thinking they were wrong. But even when the lid was no longer there, they're still prisoners. And that's how a lot of us get inside of our heads. We become prisoners to what we're doing. We become prisoners in our own bodies. And you don't have to have a handicap to be a prisoner in your body because we're living off fear. What's going to happen? Oh my gosh, I don't want to go down that road. I mean, when I was a kid, I missed like a lot of church, and my family had beaten my head. You need to go to church. You need to go to church. You need to go to church. And it's funny because one time I decided not to go. I decided to walk around the church and go over to the playground area. Well, then every time I was supposed to go to church, I made it to where I would go by myself, but I wouldn't go into church. And I did this for several years. But it's funny because I was scared to go into church. After so long, I would literally get up to the doors and almost have a panic attack. I'd have an anxiety attack. I did not want to go in there because I trained myself not to, just because I didn't want to at one time. But I did it for so often that in my brain, it would really, it doesn't matter. There was an invisible barrier between me and going in. However, when I went in, it was no big deal. Everybody welcomed me, same old, same old. They thought I was there all the time anyway. But in my mind, I was programming myself to be scared or fearful of going into church on Sundays. And that's not right for anybody. My point to this is this. If you're in a toxic relationship, first off, you got to cut the other people off. You've got to go cold turkey. If you don't, well, you know how many victims go back to the person they're with and it just starts all over again? Oh, he'll be back. Excuses. Okay, what time is it? Yeah, it's late enough. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got them. They stink and there's no use for them other than to get rid of the garbage. And sometimes people don't see that. They don't understand that. And it's not their fault. It's just they've been beaten down for so long. They've been torn apart for so long. They've been ripped apart for so long that they feel that's who they are. There was a story that Zig Ziglar told once. And also Paul Harvey's kind of funny. I forgot who it was. Anyway, they locked their daughter away because they were so embarrassed of her. Okay, that they never gave her a chance. And so they locked their daughter away for years. They wouldn't let her talk to anybody, see anybody. However, one day, after her parents died and everything else, she got out. She was able to had a little freedom. And you know what? She became very, very successful. But the people she was around never gave her that chance to be successful. They never gave her that chance to live life. They took it away from her when she was young, and she thought she was no good. She thought she did not matter to the world. She thought she was always going to be handicapped and crippled. She didn't see the possibilities of everything else around her because no one would let her. And I think that's what happens in relationships. Whether, there's a lot of abuse, and it's not just men abusing women, but also women abuse men sometimes. And if you're in a situation like that, you need to just get out. And it doesn't matter if they're threatening you that they're going to leave you because you won't do what they want. That's a good sign to get the heck out of Dodge, because it's not your way. It's not an equal relationship. It's all one way, and those type of people are looking for a punching bag. They're looking for a slave. They're looking for, people that they can take advantage of even when they're married to them. They don't treat you with civility. They don't treat you with respect. They treat you for what they want, and they program you so that you keep doing what they want. But you know what? You're miserable inside. You're so miserable inside that you don't know what to do. You don't know what, but the thing about it is, there's so many of us out there that'll help you out. There's so many people out there that'll help you. That maybe you're at a job that's toxic, where you get yelled at all the time. I had a conversation today over at the National Guard, and we were kind of joking around, and we're talking about how we always like to say that we're Barney badasses, we can chew anybody up. But the thing about it is, that's just a bunch of military guys talking. In a real unit, you're only as fast as your slowest guy. In a real unit, you don't chew people out. You don't treat them like crap. And you'll never see them be treated like crap. Maybe the new guys to try to break them in a little bit. But once you get in routine, we all have one we only have one mission. And that's how come we become such great friends, because we're not chewing each other out. We're not, abandoning anybody. And if somebody feels abandoned, they're not going to be able to do their job right. They're not going to be, they're not going to be thinking, I've got to complete this mission or we all die. They're not going to think about, I got this guy 6 because that guy was the one that was chewing him out all the time. So why on earth would I care or have his back, if all he does is chew me out, if all he does is treat me like crap. We always say that, ranks shouldn't be hanging out with each other, but the fact remains this. You need to treat people with respect. You need to get out of any toxic relationship. You have to find a way to get away from the drugs and the alcohol if you know that you sit down and no matter what, you black out every time. But all that's cause of fear. So my advice, get out, but also get around people that are going to help you get out. They're going to be there for you. Nobody can hold your hand to do it. And nobody can force you to do something that you're not willing to do. But there's a lot of people out there that if you do it, and when you do it, they're going to be there for you. They're going to be there. They're going to pick up the pieces. They're going to protect you. And it doesn't matter if they liked you at one time or not. What matters is they're helping you get out of a bad relationship. They're helping you get out of a bad situation. They're not giving excuses on why they can't help you. You're giving them excuses why you don't need them. And that's wrong. It's easier to live in the fear than to ask for help. I get that. But in a bad situation, in any type of bad situation, you need to get out of it. And the only person that can get you out is you. I know everybody they want money to, I'll help you get. No, in the end, it's about your mind. Get up, walk away. And like I said, for non-religious people, you got to trust yourself. For religious people, trust that God's going to do what he's got your back. He's not going to let you fall. All right, that's why they call him a shepherd. He's got that big old crook. He's going to pull you back. If you're afraid to do something, understand this: you have the power inside you to do it. It's just you have to make that decision. You have to make that decision. What you're going to do if you have PTSD. You're going to make that decision on what you're going to do. And that's why suicide's so big. They make a decision. They make the decision that they're not needed, that they're a burden on society. And next thing you know, they're killing themselves. Why are they a burden on society? Because they felt like everything they did was wrong. When one of my buddies a couple years back hung himself, and his kid came in to see that his dad was hanging in the basement, those are heartbreaking. And he did it because he didn't see a way out. Instead of asking for help, or nobody reached out to him. And I blame myself and all of us for not recognizing the signs on people. But you're not going to. But there's a lot of times too, if we just take enough time, maybe we can help somebody get out of their situation. Maybe we can actually use our shoulders for them to stand on. Because I promise you this, in my life, I've messed up many, many times. But my dad, and certain people in my life, they're like, here, stand on my shoulders. And when I stood on their shoulders, I was standing on the shoulders of giants, so I could see farther than they could. And sometimes the best thing is let people stand on your shoulders so they can have that view also. Get out of a toxic relationship. Trust yourself, trust God, trust what's going on in your life. And know this, life's too short to be miserable. Think about it. We're guaranteed to die someday. Do you want to be miserable until the day you die? And then the biggest fear is what comes after death. And you know what? No one can tell you that. Nobody. I don't care what the Bibles all say. I don't care what the spiritualists all say. I don't care what the witch stuff. Nobody can tell you what happens after we die. They can assume. They can go off of reading. But I always tell everybody, enjoy life right now. And if you do get upset, take a break. And if you're scared, do it anyway. So go and look up Art Williams on YouTube. And I'll post it on my page here in just a second. But Art Williams has a great motivational speech for people that need a little encouragement. And it makes sense. It's not all drawn out. It's just do it. That's it. You want to get it? Do it. Okay, watch me. Just do it. Hey, Jeff, look what I'm going to become a platinum. Okay, just do it. Hey, Jeff, okay, I'm going to get started again. I'm doing it. Just do it. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to freaking go out of my way and, I'm going to give 100%. Good. Just do it. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to freaking go over there and get this done. And, man, good. Just do it. Don't tell me you're going to do it. Do it. Because, you're going to have to do it again and again and again. My grandma and grandpa went cold turkey on cigarettes, when I was like 5 years old. They just did it. I could be a counselor and give you all these advice while you're going and doing the same thing over and over. Or I can beat right to the punch. Just do it. Get out of your situation. Go do something better. Do something fun. Live outside the box. Experiment a little bit. Leave the city for once or twice. Go for that extra position. Go for the management position. Go for that job you always wanted. Because guess what? If you don't do it, somebody else will. And you want to know something? Even if you get it or not, no one's going to care later on anyway. So if you're so worried about what people think, say, and do, you need to worry about what you think, say, and do. Everybody else is just drama. They're looking to play off, negativity. But if you don't give them that negativity, if you don't give them the opportunity to take advantage of you, now you're controlling your life. Now you're picking yourself up. And it's not going to happen overnight. I had an aunt once that was abused. And I love her to death. And I never knew she was abused, though. And when I found out, it really made me mad because she was so depressed and in a toxic relationship, she never reached out. And for the majority of her life, she was miserable. And then when she finally did get out of the situation, her heart failed on her and she died. So technically, she lived her life in misery because of fear. And you got to ask yourself, is that where you want to be? I know everybody else that knows everything and, great. I don't want people to tell me what they're going to do. I just want you to go do it. Go shake a hand. Go be polite. Go help a little old lady. Go to church. Go join an event or something, Just do it. And you don't have to tell anybody what your problems are unless you want to. And they don't need to know. All they need to know is that you're okay. All they need to know is that you're their friend. And sometimes we find the friends in the craziest places, doing the craziest things, and having the craziest times of their lives, all because they chose to live outside the box and avoid fear at all costs. Don't let anybody bring up your past. Don't let anybody try to humiliate you or take your money, or don't let anybody do anything to manipulate you to get what they want, and you're not getting anything in return. Life's too short. The job I do, I love every minute of it. It's an honest, hardworking job. I get to meet a lot of people and I love it. Is it for everybody? No. I mean, I didn't become a school teacher. That scares the crap out of me. I was going to. So, long story short, in my case, nothing short. Be yourself. Yes, it's going to be hard at first, but after a while, you're going to be glad you did it. After a while, if somebody threatens, oh, I'm going to leave. Good, bye-bye. Tell them to get out the door. Don't even play the game. You know what? If you're willing to say that to me, then obviously I'm not important enough to save. If you're with a husband or something that's not going to fight for you, they're not worth having. Now, don't tell anybody I said, that, but it's true. But if you don't get out, then you're not doing yourself or anybody else any good. If you can't do good for others because you're lying in misery, then you need to get out of that situation and then pay it back. Be kind to somebody else. Maybe be kind to people because no one was kind to you. Be the example. Set the example. And like I said, if somebody's taking all your money, abusing you, and threatening you with, I'm going to leave, well, good, say bye. Give them the I don't care attitude. You know what? You don't run my life. Like one day when I get married, to me, my wife will be my equal. And communication is a very, very big deal to me. It really is. But people, they don't communicate. And this is not a cell phone generation era. People haven't communicated in a very long time. I've noticed there was a wedding I was at, and they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And somebody went up and asked them, they're like, hey, so, how'd you guys last 50 years, And the guy turned around and, he's like, well, it's been the best 25 years of my life. Meaning, every day is not going to be perfect. But, like I said, you don't have to go out and get new every time something's broken. However, somebody that's abusive, negative, and not tolerant, you don't need to be with them. Simple as that. Because they're ruining your life. And now you're making decisions you normally wouldn't make. You're hiding from people that you normally wouldn't hide from. You're embarrassed all the time. You feel guilty all the time. You just want to break down crying all the time. And that's PTSD in the nutshell. No one's going to understand me. Nobody understands what I went through. I go to these groups. I'm with the Vietnam vets, but I'm Afghanistan. They don't feel that we're on the same playing field. Every day there's something. But you don't have to be around people that do not respect you or love you. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And pass it on. Pay it forward. My buddy today asked me, I did some stuff for him, and I was like, do you remember what I asked you in return for helping you out? And I actually told him 2 things. And he goes, yeah. I was like, what's the one thing I asked for you to do in return? He goes, pay it forward. Exactly. I want nothing from you. But I do want you to pay it forward. I do want you to give somebody else a chance, just like I gave you a chance. And like I said, if people around you are bad, get away from them. Do it, just do it, just do it. Art Williams, speech, just do it. Love it. Zig Ziglar, great speech. A great motivational speaker. And he'll be the last one I'll bring up. But he was talking about a story about a guy that was driving. I think he said it was him. So he was driving in the snow. Anyway, he went off the side, and he got stuck. He could not get it out no matter what he did. No matter what he did, he could not get this out. Anyway, so he finally had to call a tow truck and everything else, and he basically said, you know, I know everything about cars, but I can't get this out. He's like, really? Did you try to back it up? He's like, yeah. He goes, you mind if I get in there and try it one more time? Hey, be my guest. He turned the wheel just a little bit and backed the car right out. You see why sometimes we may not understand everything or know everything, but sometimes when we can't do something, it's not that we can't, it's just we won't, or we're scared to do it, or we don't know how to do it. The tow truck driver showed him something new that night. So like I said, if we're not in our comfort zone, if you're being abused or neglected, get out of it. Get out of it, and then go help other people. The more people you help, the faster along you will recover from whatever negative situation you're in. And never hold grudges. And, you know, if you're going to forgive somebody, like I always say, forgive. Don't forgive them and then bring it up again later on. Because then that's not real forgiveness. Forgiveness is when it's done, it's over with. You know, later on, you know, there is no, remember, no. It's come with an open heart and an open hand. Because, like I said, you are in charge of yourself. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you guys tonight. And like I said, I hope you guys are all having a great evening. And there are people out there that do care about you. I care about you. You know, if you need a friend, call me. I don't care. I don't hide. I just asked you to buy me chicken wings. Just kidding. So, and if you do forgive people and you don't forgive yourself, then technically you didn't forgive anybody. Don't hold on to that stuff. Literally, when you forgive somebody, let it go. Never bring it up again. Because if you don't, that means you are wasting time and space inside your mind on something that does not even matter to a lick of beans. So, all right, everybody. You all have a great night. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, well, I can talk to you in Messenger easier. So, all right, everybody. God bless. I'll talk to everybody soon. Hope you're all having a great job. You want to know something? And for all you people that are religious and stuff, why do you doubt God? Just because you don't know what your future holds doesn't mean that he's going to do you wrong. If you have faith in God, believe in that faith. Don't just talk about that faith. Believe in that faith. You don't have to be one of these people on religion or out in the public, you know, preaching the Bible. Half the time I think those people are fake because they got to make a point. I know a Marine that stole millions of dollars with the Wounded Warrior program, and he was their account person, and he thought because he went and opened up a church that he would never have to give the money back. He would never have to do it. You know, that was his way of feeling better about himself. Really? You kept all the money and you opened up a church. That's not fair for anybody. And that's not even forgivable. You know, he was just looking for a way to not get in trouble. It's a pity that these things happen all the time. So don't live under fear. Be yourself. Get out of bad relationships. Every day, tell yourself that you matter. Go help other people and just live life to the fullest. Because you, yes, you are great. And you are better than your surrounding environment. You have a bigger calling. Just because you don't know what it is doesn't mean it's not there. God's got a bigger calling for all of us. Simple as that. You don't have to question it. He's got your back. You don't have to do anything about it. He's got your back. And if you're not religious, then believe in yourself. Believe that you can get to anything with just enough hard work. Nothing in life is for free. So there is pain attached to getting rid of people. But after that, you're so much happier. You're so much more full of energy. All right. You all have a good night tonight. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to drop me a line or send me a message. Let me know you're okay. I love hearing from my family and friends and even new people. And I like going and like praying for people, and I love getting in the theology debates sometimes. But believe it or not, you know, I do believe in God. Just because you don't doesn't make me hate you or love you any more or less. You know, just like if you're a Democrat or Republican or third party, that I'm not going to judge you based on your politics or your religion. I could really care less. You know, I mean, you can bark at me till I'm blue in the face and I won't care. What I care about is you're happy and that you're motivated. All right. Talk to everybody later. Have a good one, everybody.